The idea is the cheese is gonna melt. And you're gonna wrap the burrito with this, okay? This thing's gonna be fire. Woohoo! Yes, we are here. Super excited to be in the test kitchen. It's been a dream, and now we are here. We made it. We out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Keep focusing on your dreams. You can do it too. Oh, it's warm. Oh, this one's in a container. Nice. So this first one, size-wise, a bit small. I think this is for a half human, not like a big human like myself. Flour tortilla. They did a nice crisp situation here to keep the fold in place. What I can tell is the proper way to make the Mexican rice. The beans has a little bit of liquid when they put it into the burrito, so it kind of mixed in with the rice a little bit. This is from a real Mexican spot. You can taste the flavor in the rice too. How much?
$9.50.
I'll pay for that, $9.50, I'll take that. The second one, supposed to be in a foil situation. That's how you really keep the burritos kind of warm. The aluminum foil part is a very important part of the burrito. One, it helps keep the burrito together. Two, it creates a steam situation in the burrito. So once you put all these components together, and they kind of just mold right into each other. And then when you have a burrito, it's the easiest way to eat with the foil. You can just rip the top off and just toss that into the garbage right there. This one's a little bit looser, but it's a little hefty though, so I like that. They mix the rice with the beans. It seems like there's only one side condiment situation. Maybe it's just a guacamole or salsa verde. That's a lot of flavor. It's like a guacamole tomato mix. It's really nice. It's a great burrito. You can't judge a book by its cover, right?
It's $11.95.
Yeah, that's about right. Regular financial district money, you know what I mean? This kind of burritos that I like right here. Cut it in half. Ooh! Somebody put some love into this one. That's a great roll. Visually, this is the way to roll the burrito. Nice little spice at the end. Maybe jalapeno, maybe serrano peppers. The meat itself is a little one-noted. You need to give it a little bit more body, a little bit more flavor, right? $14? You better give me more meat, damn. Hell no, no way. Look, meat's already gone, chill. I'll make you a $14 burrito. All right, I'm gonna show you a $14 burrito. Visually, this is the way you would want to roll the burrito with the layers and all that stuff. But then flavorful wise, the meat from this spot is great. And then the accoutrements on this burrito spot is the best one, with the guac being a little bit more diced instead of mashed. And then the rice itself has a ton of flavor. The beans has a ton of flavor. This is the most authentic carne asada burrito I think I've tasted out of the three, especially being here in New York. It's a hard job to do, and this place is doing a great job. Sirloin here, and then some skirt steaks. I think I would just choose a skirt steak over the sirloin steak. It's a lot easier to cook. The marinade can seep in a little bit better, and it'll get the nice char color. Monterey Jack cheese, which is commonly used for Michelin style burrito. Kobe cheese. This is great for color. Some lard. I'm gonna add some flavor, and I think a lot of people will appreciate me using lard. I like the black beans. It stays a little bit more moist. I think the pinto beans gets a little bit dry, and it also gives it a different color when you cut into the layer. So I kind of like that look. Handy dandy white rice, Carolina rice, super easy to use. Ancho chili too. Gonna give it a kind of a smoky, kind of like mild chili flavor to it. For the rice, we're gonna go ahead and use the tomato paste to give it a nice reddish color. Flour tortillas, these are the ones you can get in your store. This is a nice size, I think. We'll be able to feed one of me, not two, just one.
There's a lot of ingredients there.
Yeah, and also you're forgetting love. That's the last ingredient.
Where's the love come from?
It's from here, it's right here, right here. The ratio is 1 pound of beans to 8 cups of water. Put that into our Instant Pot. The beans were soaked overnight. In the pressurized situation, you want to have enough water, that ratio to the beans, so you can soak them and then pressurize, cook them at the same time. And you will have that soft, nice beans you're looking for. So now we're gonna make our sachet that we're gonna put in the beans to flavor our beans. I like to put them in a sachet because the seeds that we're gonna have on there, like cumin seeds and all that kind of stuff, you don't want it to get lost in the beans and then somebody bites into it. I'm gonna do a little bit of ancho, do 1 chipotle also, garlic, a couple cloves, open them up a little bit. We're gonna take half of an onion, save the other half for later for our guacamole too, okay? Put that in there. A couple of bay leaves, some cumin seeds, just a little bit like this. Ooh. Mexican oregano is super potent and it'll give you, that herbaceous flavor. Close it up, and this is what's gonna give our beans the flavor that you're looking for. Put a nice pinches, black pepper in there, and then we're gonna go drop the sachet in. Nice. All right, there it is. The orange juice is the most integral part of the marinade. 2 cups of orange juice, all right? The marinade with the orange juice kind of breaks it down a little bit because of the acid from the orange juice, but also gives it that sweetness. Garlic powder, cumin seed. Instead of ground cumin, I like it like this because it kind of gives it a little bit more, I guess, nutty flavor when you start mixing it into the meat. Chipotle, chili powder, it's a dash, all right? Whole coriander seed, and then a couple of bay leaf. Go ahead and grab some of the limes also for some lime juice. Sourness and kind of sweetness is gonna really play well with this marinade. We're gonna get a couple of sprigs of cilantro. Cilantro is a great herb for Mexican food. It's always prominent. If you have it in the marinade, we're gonna have it in our pico, we're gonna have it in our guac. So it's gonna be all throughout. So we're just gonna go and cut it in half and put it right in the marinade. If I was working in a restaurant, I would marinate the meat probably for 12 hours to give it that great flavor. Now I'm going to cover this, put it in the fridge, then we're gonna go ahead and make our rice. Mexican rice really is kind of like a platform for all of the dishes in Mexico, right? Like it needs to have either a red color to it or yellow color to it. It's super flavorful. It's usually tomato based, so that's why we're using tomato paste. We're gonna rough chop this garlic, small dice, not too minced though. When we cook in this dish, the onions and the garlic cannot burn. The color's gotta be nice and translucent, and if it starts getting brown color, you gotta pull it off. I'm gonna use the whole onion because I like that onion flavor. Small dice too, okay? You want it to cook evenly with your garlic. I love onions and rice. I created with the base of onions and garlic, and that's the way to go. A little bit of medium-high heat. We're gonna do non-flavor oil, and we're gonna start off with the onions and the garlic first together. The reason why I'm doing it in a shallower style pot, wider face to it, is because I can control the temperature of this pot, and I can cook the rice a little bit faster instead of at a higher lip. It's gonna create a much better steam. This is the best spot to do rice if you're gonna do it on the stovetop. Salt, black pepper. So once again, you don't want any color, you just wanna sweat it out. The best way is controlling the fire. Medium-high heat, and then moving it around once in a while to make sure that everybody gets cooked evenly. So once that starts getting super translucent, this is where I'm gonna add the rice. We're using Carolina rice. Get it at any supermarket, bodega. They wanna put enough rice to cover the bottom of the pot. And what we're gonna do is kind of like toasting the rice. It's like cooking paella or risotto. And I'm also gonna keep seasoning along the way because you want this stuff to be flavored, okay? The reason why we're doing it this way instead of just putting it in a boiling pot is you want to build flavors for the rice. So every single item needs to have flavor, needs to have seasoning, it needs to be taken care of with love, like I do. Putting about a couple squirts in this joint. Make sure every kernel of rice is coated with this tomato paste. And if you can smell a vision, you can just smell the tomatoes getting cooked out, the onions getting cooked in, and also the garlic just going in there, man. I mean, this is gonna be some tasty rice. And I'm gonna give it a little bit of garlic powder because I like that flavor in my rice. But I'm just gonna eyeball it. But for now, we're gonna bring this up to a boil. Then we're gonna turn it down and bring it to a simmer, okay? The stems is where most of the flavor of the cilantro is at. So now it's up to a boil. We're gonna go ahead and close it. Then we're gonna turn it down. That's it. Wait 20 minutes. I don't like to use the middle of the tomato because it's too liquidy or that's too much water in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use the skin. So I'm gonna go and cut the middle part off, okay? And that's all we're gonna use for this pico de gallo. If I put the pulp in there in the middle part of the tomato, it's gonna get too wet for me. Most people like to use white onion for their pico. I like to use red. It gives it a nice color, contrast. It gives it a little bit more, bite to it. It gives it a little bit more flavor. So you want it to be almost the same size as your tomato. And then I like serrano because I like a little bit of heat. So we're just gonna do one, all right? This is spicy, do one. Matter of fact, we're just gonna use half of a serrano. De-seed this real quick. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab a couple of bunches of cilantro, going all the way down this way. This is where that herbaceous flavor comes in. And then next, we're gonna go ahead and put our lime juice, a couple of pinches of salt, black pepper. So this is one of the accoutrements for the burrito that's super fresh. It plays with marinated beef, the very unctuous rice, the beans. It really just gives it that freshness. It also opens up the dish. So we're gonna go check on our rice. Look how beautiful that thing looks. You can tell every grain is covered by this tomato sauce that you made, married with onions and garlic. This is great looking rice right here. It's such a simple thing to make. Anybody can make it. Wow, this looks great. When you're filling an avocado, you want to make sure that it is not too hard. You don't want it to be too mushy. That means it's over ripened. Pop out the avocado itself. Just give it a nice slice. right across, then slice across this way, and then we're just gonna dice. I'm just gonna use maybe half of this onion. We wanna dice it as small as possible, okay? I like to use red personally just for pico, and then for the white for the guac, it's because you want it to be a little bit more subtle, you know what I mean? One jalapeno, seedless. I want to make this one with a little bit of spice and a little bit of aggressive seasoning. The cilantro and the limes is really adding that herbaceous freshness that you're looking for, but also the acidity that you're going to need. Salt, pepper. We're just going to put a little bit of olive oil too. I like it because it gives you a little sheen to it. It gives you a little bit more fat too.
How do you feel about restaurants? I'm charging you $1 every time you get guac.
That's the game, man. Release the Kraken. And check our beans. Woo! See where we at. Perfect, y'all. Go ahead and get in there.
Why is this a better option than buying like shredded bag cheese?
Because they like me to work in Bon Appetit and earn my paycheck, so I gotta shred it myself. This right here, it gives you an attachment to the process. Let's mix it up. First, what we're gonna do is strain the marinade. I wanna save it. I wanna bring it up to a boiling point, so all those bacteria from the steak will get cooked out. When we cut the steaks, we'll put them back in there to keep it moist, okay? So when we build the burrito, it's not dry as hell. Salt and pepper, black pepper. Just gonna go ahead and throw it in on here. You want that char on the steak, okay? We're gonna cook this to like medium. That's the best way to like really enjoy a skirt steak. Maybe 4 minutes on each side. I wanna still see that little red when I slice into it. All right, we're gonna pull it off now. That's it. So this thing just went up to a boil. So it's good to go. I'm gonna strain. Oh, look at those perfect beans. So lard is the fat of the pork. In Mexican cooking, this is very much used a lot. I'm gonna put it in our beans to give it a little bit more flavor profile, but gives it a little bit more oomph, right? So while that's kind of melting, I'm gonna go ahead and scoop some rice out and have it kind of warmed up in our little pot here. As you can see, the color is there from the tomato. It also has onions and garlic. It's an ongoing flavor profile that's all throughout our dishes, right? So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and slice our skirt against the grain. So we've been resting this for about 5 minutes now. Looks like it's a little bit of a mid-rare right now. Once we put it into the pot, it'll cook just a little bit more. See where the flavor's at. That's nice. Sour orange, the oregano, coriander seed. Oh wow, that's really good. And I'm gonna keep it here in our sauce. Scoop a couple of spoonfuls of beans. Take a little bit of bean liquid because it has a lot of flavor in it. All right, so now we're gonna start building. We're gonna go ahead and use the flat top. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna put a little bit of fat, toast our tortilla, cheese right on the tortilla now. So I want it to melt. What I like to do too is, I like to do this, all right? Flip right into the joint. It's nice and melted cheese right on top right here. I wanna put sour cream first. The main purpose of sour cream is to give you kind of a cooling factor. You know, there's a lot of spices and a lot of things going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and place our very moist beef. Next, we're gonna go with the rice, and we're gonna go ahead and put our beans. Super nice, super hot. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little extra because, you know, I'm from the Bronx, we extra. We're gonna go ahead and create a cheese crust for the burrito. The idea is the cheese is gonna melt. We're gonna wrap the burrito with this, okay? Woo! There's guacamole, a little bit of pico. But I think this is a small burrito, so I think we're gonna be overstuffing this, but you're gonna learn from mistakes. This is how we're gonna do this, all right? Yeah, the way you fold the burrito is you fold in the sides, and then you roll over the top, and then you just tuck in the sides. On the cut side down, you wanna lay it on this side right here. There's another way also to maintain the integrity of the burrito, all right? This thing's gonna be fire. Woohoo! Shout out to Low Key Burritos for showing us this technique, all right? Now what we're gonna do is lift this up end right here. With the foil, you wanna roll it tight so it steams it up. It also kind of melts the cheese inside of the burrito. Sushi style burrito. Damn, it's gonna be a good burrito. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and taste and we'll see who has the best burrito. Bean and meat ratio, gotta pay attention to it. I think they have a little bit more beans than meat. So hopefully when I bite into my burrito, I can taste all the components. Nice, it's a homemade burrito right there. Ooh, this thing. Man, look at that. No cheese crust. That's a good burrito. Because I'm not trying to like talk, but it's look at this crust, man. Look at this thing. Oh, that's fire. The little extra step that we took to give you this cheese crust, putting this burrito over the top. The pico de gallo is there. The guacamole is there. The rice is flavorful too. You can really taste the meat. All of it's coming together. And then the sour cream is just giving it that coolness factor that you need, you know? That's a really good burrito. This burrito is great too. I think we just gotta understand the bean and meat ratio. I think it's less meat than beans and rice. The pico itself, the guacamole, doesn't have that much flavor compared to what I did, but you know, we sat and really focused on this thing and really like went through it. So, you know, the reason why I can taste mine a little bit more also, the rice in this one got mixed with the beans, which was a 1 scoop situation. We put it right into the mix. The one that I made is a little bit more layered. It has rice, it has beans, freshness of the guac, freshness of the pico, and theirs, I guess, they just added guacamole on top with a little bit of tomatoes. I wouldn't be mad if I get something like this for $9 for my burrito. It's very compact. It has a lot of time and effort that went into it, a lot of labor. I would charge $11 for it. Having taken the time to cook down the rice, cook down the beans, marinating the beef, attention to detail in creating this burrito really made a big difference between these two, you know? And then creating another layer with the cheesy crust on the outside really put it over the top. You too can also put together a great burrito. Just make sure you stay focused on the effort to do the right things, buy the right products. South Bronx all day, Chef Harold. Bon Appétit right now. Peace. I can see clearly now. I hate you guys.